When I first started school, I think I was living in a shelter at the time.
I was scared, to be honest. I didn't know what to expect.
My probably biggest struggles were that I didn't feel smart enough to be at college.
The specific struggles I kind of faced with in college was kind of adapting to the college life and having a chronic illness.
I felt like that was the right thing to do. Everybody's going to school right out of high school, and a piece of me didn't want to come to school, but I knew that's what I needed to do. So I came to Normandale for a semester.
I kind of felt like what am I doing here? Is this too much work for me?
First semester, I took like five classes my first semester, and I really didn't do very well. I probably failed like every single one of them. I didn't do very well. And it took me a lot of times to fall down to really get used to like college in general.
Living alone in my car, I thought that I was not going to make it.
The first semester back at Normandale, I took the placement exams, and the placement exams told me I was college level for all of my classes. And I was just so excited to get back into school that I didn't even think that, wait a minute, you haven't been in school for 3 years, you can't just jump back in like that full time and expect to just be on your A game.
Initially, I never really thought about going to college until my junior year when I got an internship at working at Cargill. And, that's when I started thinking about college, but I was a little bit nervous just because I didn't really perform that well in high school.
10 years ago, when I graduated from high school, I went to Anoka Ramsey Community College. I did that for about 2 semesters. College wasn't for me at that time, and I was in the military, and I ended up getting deployed. So I had to drop school altogether. And it wasn't until I got back from my deployment, I went to school again, did that for a little bit, got to have a diploma, but it wasn't a career. It was just a job. And so that's why I'm here at Normandale, trying to go for further my career, basically, and go for my dream. So, no.
In order to pass for the next semester, I figured I needed to go back a step and get my brain together and relearn everything all over again. So I intentionally signed up for remedial classes just so I can get confident with college level work and get to the place I need to be.
It was really down to what I had to experience, what I had to learn, like as I was going through college. So,
the struggle coming back now is being older. I've been out of school for about 7 years, and so it's adjusting to getting back into that college life. That's one of my biggest struggles that I found this semester.
My reading classes helped out a lot, and just reading it and then coming back to class and having a group discussion about it really helped. And I took my reading past towards like my English classes or my macroeconomics classes. If I didn't understand the definition, I would look it up, or I would even make a summary of a little paragraph that I read so I can go back to it and just study that part instead of reading the whole paragraph over.
At first, I didn't know what to expect, but my professors were awesome. They taught me everything that I've needed, and I'm taking 19 credits right now, and without the help that I had and without them, constantly staying, I would stay after class, and without them, taking their time to help me and improving my skills and giving me extra resources to improve my writing skills or reading skills, I would not be where I am today. And 19 credits is, a huge load, and without that work, I would never, been able to, establish that and being able to accomplish what I, am today.
The reading class really made me open up to other ideas, and maybe, look at it different ways. And that carries on even into my English classes, even life in general. It really makes me question, think about it, and it's a great way to have conversations with people because you can share in that conversation. If someone's read that book, you obviously have your own point of views, and it can actually start some great conversations. So,
my teacher gave me a really great example of taking annotations, which made me really good at reading. As I believe I have went a lot, much more better at reading, because like when I read and annotate, It's like I get more deep into it. I understand what the meanings are.
It helped because it's helping re-cement the foundation that I need to move on and be ready, fully ready when I'm back in college level reading.
I love reading. Reading is phenomenal. I like visualizing. I like throwing myself into the book and just imagining myself in there,
And so being in writing all over again is really cool because it helps me learn how to write, and they tie together, surprisingly. It's almost like the teachers sit in class and sit in a room and like, okay, so you're gonna talk about this, I'm gonna talk about this. That's how I feel like they tie together.
My reading is accelerated now. I can do things that I was not doing before.
Like all my reading classes, writing classes, they all help. Just like clear my vision, kind of, on.
My reading class, it helped me in my writing classes, in my philosophy class, and my public speaking class. It helped me throughout time when how to organize myself.
I feel like if you do a certain combination of classes, especially reading, it does help you a lot because you can say, oh, well, we talked about this in reading class, and you're like a step ahead of everybody else in your other classes.
Being comfortable with the work is the biggest thing. Feeling confident, feeling like I can be at the same level as my classmates helps me, be a part of, the community. Probably before I didn't really feel like I knew what was going on, so I kind of just was there and I didn't really want to talk or really socialize. And now that I know what I'm talking about, it's better, it's just fun.
I can apply what I learned in reading class for real life.
It helped me a lot understanding like the main ideas and topics when I started reading my textbooks in my other classes, in if it's sociology, if it's chemistry, all stuff like that. Like it really helps me. I tend to understand more with the textbooks material and stuff like that because they're just little things that just really make a huge impact on my reading.
So I need these refresher courses just to help basically warm up the engine and get me ready, get my mindset ready for college life. And without that, I would for sure fail. I would struggle, and it would turn the school experience into a very negative experience, and they would sour it. I think it's soured for a lot of people actually, and so I think it's important.
Some students might lose their passes, what they have to do in high school. They lose their tracks and may be distracted with the life outside, so they don't know what to expect and stuff from college. So when they come to school, they need help. They might not be ready enough, or they might not score at the college level point, but that's what they need because it's a new chapter for them.
I seek the tutoring center. They were really helpful there, and they had a really great SIs as well.
The teachers helped out a lot, and the new people that I met also helped because if I would miss class, I would text them and ask them what did we do in class today, and they would help me.
I thought about what time my classes were, what works for me, not to set classes, and to avoid stressors, I picked my classes at strategic times that worked for me, mentally, and picking the harder classes earlier in the day would have a fresh memory, fresh brain, and the easier ones toward the end, and different things like that. That's what helped me with this semester.
I didn't know what I should do as far as improving, but I had a lot of help from my professors, and I was very grateful that we had an SI who was able to help me out, and with that SI I was able to lift a letter grade, which is substantial. Along with that, they helped me utilize the tutoring center, and that also helped me out as far as improving my writing skills, and they were very helpful. At first I was nervous just going in because I didn't know what to expect, but it's nice to walk in and then walk out with like no stress. So it was awesome.
To be honest, the first thing I did was I went and just sat down, just spaced out for a while and put everything together, like, well, how much time do I spend at school? After school, how much time do I have to myself? And then after that, how long do I go from work? And then after work, what do I do after that? And I had to do that for, I say I gave myself about a week because I kept testing myself to see like if this would work, if that would work, if this would work, if that would work. And things kept failing. And then after a while, I realized that before school, I have time. So once I figured that out, then it became a whole lot easier to adjust to school just a bit more.
Yes, this is a new whole chapter of their life, but everybody has to go through it. It's not going to be easy at first, but you have to accept the fact that you need help. Don't hesitate to ask. Go to the tutoring center, the ASI sessions, talk to your professors, and put yourself out there.
There is always help if you ask for it. There's always help. Teachers, tutors, everyone is always willing to grant you some help. All you have to do is ask. And that's the most amazing thing about college, I think, is the help is there. If you put an effort into asking and seeking help, you always find it.
My advice would be to seek out any help that you can, whether it be teachers, SI leaders, even people in the classroom, like, just make friends and exchange phone numbers, because that is really key and it's very important when you have really hard college classes.
I just picked a girl that was really active in class. She was active. I saw her talking to my professor. She was really active. She was talking about all these books, and I figured she would be a great friend for me. She would help me get along with the reading class since I was new there. She turned out to be a great friend to me. So
starting this year and throughout my whole, college, slowly started from the bottom, but I slowly came to my professor's office, asked him questions frequently. If I didn't know one thing, I didn't want to fall right behind, so I just kept asking questions, kept asking questions. I really wanted to know everything, so it really helped me out a lot, and it's kind of shown this semester, judging from what I've started from in the beginning of my freshman year.
The idea of not going to get help because I'm worried about how I would look when I'm going to get that help. How is it going to be? Do I look stupid when I'm going to seek help or to the tutoring center? But I guess they have to seek help. That was really helpful for me. There was nothing humiliating or degrading in it in any way. It was really great. So just seek help. It helps on the long run very much.
Ask lots of questions. Lots of questions. I'm not afraid to be in class, be the first person to answer, even if it's wrong. I have no problem putting myself out there. I've used the SI in my reading class. No problem going to teachers during open hours. That's what they're there for. And so I'm paying for it. I'm going to use it. They're there to help me. So I'm not shy when it comes to learning. So yeah.
And if you can't do something, you're not capable of doing something, that's okay. Because that's just at that moment now. Eventually you'll get to the point where you can do that. And so I've learned that to trust, taking time and not feeling like you need to accomplish everything at one time. And to take baby steps.
Don't be scared, and don't give up, because it's always help. All you got to do is speak to somebody. Like, closed mouth don't get fed, you know what I'm saying? If you don't speak up, nobody will know what you're going through.
Help is there. Don't freak out. Ask for help.
You gave me a shot, and here I am, still striving to be like the best student I can and succeed. And, from this college, I want to succeed. I want to look back and be like, yo, I made the right choice, yo.
I'm doing a lot better than I did. I'm more involved with my teachers. I'm more involved with my classmates. I remember last semester, I feel like I didn't know anybody. I never talked to anybody. I always felt like I was just in a big room full of people. And now I know my classmates. They know me. We speak. We converse. When I don't come to class, they worry. And when they don't come, I worry. I just feel more part of school.
Oh, I'm doing great now. Having a huge network, a lot of friends in college, good relations with my professors, keeping my straight A's, joining an honor society, applying for the U, transferring soon. So yeah, doing great.
What I learned about myself is that I'm able to basically conquer anything right now because I know the fundamentals of, you know, for instance, writing and reading. I'm ready to take on anything, and I have the confidence to do it. And with these prereqs, I had confidence. You know, going into freshman composition, I wasn't scared. I wasn't petrified to see what was going to happen to me, and it was nice. I mean, there were so many different ways, you know, to utilize one strategy to perform a task in freshman composition, which is awesome because, you know, I talked to people who didn't take the prereqs, and, you know, they did okay, but I was able to help them in some ways as far as, hey, you should try this way because, you know, I learned this in my prereq class and it, you know, really helps. You know, being an active, you know, reader and writer is, you know, that's you know, an example, but that, you know, that helped me. So
really good. I'm a straight A student, and one thing from the reading class that helps me, the things that I learned in the reading class, the skills that I got there, helped me in every other classes that I had. And so actually it ruined some shows for me because I can't watch them because there's not a lot of logic, bad arguments. I just don't like it because of this. And it's just the using of the skills that I developed in the reading class. And it really helps in the science classes when you got these big, thick textbooks, and sometimes you really don't have the time to read it all. But after the reading class, I know what to read.
I think I can do what I start now. Before, I was struggling in many things.
Don't take failure seriously. Take it as a learning experience.
I can persevere through a lot. Yeah, because it takes a lot to like keep a job, go to school, have a roof over your head.
My biggest thing is take your time. You don't have to, if you're not comfortable with being a full-time student, work your way up. That's another big mistake I always make. I think I need to have a full-time schedule when if I just do 2 classes at a time, I'll probably be a straight A student versus trying to do 4. So take your time, make sure it's what you really want.
Set a limit for yourself. You know, I'm going to almost my 3rd year, and I'm planning to become an accountant. But I'm really looking at just taking 3 classes first semester. That's kind of my limit. Everybody got their own limit.
My thing is short goals. 1 week at a time, 1 assignment at a time. Before you know it, the semester's over and you've passed, you've moved on. Don't try to swallow it all at once because it's going to overwhelm you.
coming into college, I literally thought it was a free-for-all. You know, everything's on your own. And that's what I think people kind of get in the first impression when they don't really know what they're going to do in college. But, you know, you come here, you build connections, you build the confidence, you know, as semesters go, you're like, wow, college isn't, you know, so hard. I mean, I took prereqs, you know, I took the regular classes, you know, and, you know, if you had a community college, you get your AA done or, you know, AS, and then you carry that on and you get your bachelor's, you transfer to university, and then from there, you can look back and say, wow, you know, because I got this amount of training and because I built the amount of connections and because I have so much confidence, I can finish and I can do it. And I think for me, at the end of the day, I'm looking for, you know, just being able to say the words that I did it. And I think that's what everyone's goal is, just to say, I did it.